Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott Selections here for Friday, October 4th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We gave out a layout for the entire MLB postseason in terms of some bets that you could take. For example, we ended up giving out the Cardinals to win their series against the Braves. They ended up winning Game 1. Very thrilling Game 1 as both bullpens fell apart simultaneously, but the Cardinals were able to hold on. I know they're currently down 1-0 in this top of the second inning, but it's early on, and we'll see what happens there. Other than that, though, we also gave out the Astros to win the World Series, the Astros to win the AL. We also gave out Dodgers and Nationals to Dodgers to win 3-2 at plus 230. Am I concerned about them getting blown out in Game 1? No, because I think Buehler's a tremendous pitcher, and I'm not surprised that he was given the nod in Game 1 over Kershaw. However, since we ended up mentioning the Dodgers and Nationals, that actually going to transition into our play of the day, as it is time for Game 2 between the Nationals and the Dodgers. And the pitching matchup will be between Steven Strasburg and Clayton Kershaw. And we actually like the over 7.5 runs, which is available at minus 108 on DraftKings. Simply put, I think this total is too low, considering some question marks regarding both pitchers. Strasburg is a tremendous pitcher, and we all know that, as he ended up going 18-6 with a 3.32 ERA. He was also great against the Dodgers this season with a, let me just pull this up. He was 1-1 with a 2.08 ERA. In 13 innings of work. However, he will not be off normal rest, as he ended up having to throw 34 pitches in the NL wildcard game, in which he came in relief and was absolutely fantastic, and he pretty much saved their entire season. However, since he did pitch 3 days ago, I'm a little bit concerned on how sharp he might be, especially considering the fact the Dodgers lineup is significantly better than the Brewers. And I'm also a little bit concerned regarding his potential pitch count in this game. Even if Strasburg pitches well, is the Nationals pitching staff really just going to force Strasburg to throw 100-something pitches on 3 days rest? I doubt it. I think Strasburg should throw somewhere in the realm of 80 to 90, assuming that it goes well. And if he goes through 80 to 90, that means you're probably going to have about 3 innings of the Nationals bullpen to work with. As we saw yesterday and through the regular season, their bullpen's an absolute gas can that explodes pretty much any chance possible. So I think that Strasburg, even if he pitches well, I could see him going 6 innings, maybe giving up 2 runs or so. And if that's the case, I'm talking about best case scenario. If that happens, Nationals bullpen should give up at least 3 runs. This bullpen's terrible. They tried to send in some people yesterday. Everyone was bad for the most part. And the Dodgers ended up scoring 6 runs. Meanwhile, we transition over to Clayton Kershaw, and he has had a very solid season. Not his usual dominance that we've seen in years past, but he is 16-5 with a 3.03 ERA. However, as all of you know, follow baseball, it is the playoffs, which means that Clayton Kershaw is not typically the same beast that he usually is in the regular season. His playoff statistics that I have right here, he has started 24 games. He's made 30 appearances. He is 9-10 with a 4.32 ERA. Not great by any means. He has had some success in terms of the Dodgers against the Nationals so far this season, but as a whole, Kershaw, I'm a little bit concerned with his playoff numbers, plus the wind will be blowing out about 5 miles an hour to right field, which I think will lead to some more runs. It's going about roughly 5 miles an hour as the game moves on, and I think that even if Kershaw does pitch well, he should go about 6 innings as he's getting up there in age, and if you look at his recent performances, plus he's going to have to pitch again later in roughly 3 days rest. But in terms of his pitch counts, it's usually around 90. He has not gone past 6 1/3 innings in any of his last 6 starts. So I would not be surprised to see him go roughly 6 innings before laying it on to the Dodgers bullpen. I think he's going to struggle. I'm not concerned that the Nationals struggled offensively yesterday. I think they should bounce back in this one with, in my opinion, an inferior pitcher on the mound, because I think Buehler's just better at this point in his career. But overall, I think the Nationals and the Dodgers by the end of the game should each have at least 3 to 4 runs. And I think that you should see this game end somewhere in the realm of maybe 5-4, 5-3, something like that. And I think that a 7.5 at minus 108 on DraftKings, I think those odds are a little bit too low, considering the fact that both starting pitchers have their own respective questions going into this matchup. Yeah, Jamal, I understand based on the stats alone that the first 5 under might seem appealing, but I know Strasburg, if you think he'll be the same pitcher despite being on a short rest, then you can take that. And if you're not worried about Kershaw's playoff numbers and his recent history of, I don't really say being a choker, but kind of being a choker, then I think that you could make the case for the first 5 under just based on how good these two starting pitchers are. But in terms of just what both pitchers are currently going through, I'll lean to the over in the full game, just also based on the Nationals bullpen and how Strasburg should be on a pitch count. So I think the total should be somewhere in the realm of 8, 8.5. So for that reason, I will take the over 7.5 at -108 as the play of the day. Now, in terms of some of the other leans for the rest of the betting card, quick look at the Yankees and Twins game. I actually like the under 9 here, which is available at Pinnacle at roughly -117. I'll lean to the under there, as I simply think that, well, first of all, the wind is definitely going to benefit the under, as it's headed in from left field at roughly 10 miles an hour. So even though both of these teams love to hit home runs, I think that the weather should play a serious factor in this game. And I also think that if both of the pitchers, or if any of the starting pitchers, end up getting a little bit dicey early, then both managers should be quick to pull them. So I think you should see a decent amount of bullpen action if one of the pitchers starts to struggle. But in terms of this matchup itself, both teams mostly rely solely on the home run ball to generate the majority of their runs. As a Yankees fan, it really bothers me, but that's how they've, built their reputation this season. But with the wind blowing in, Paxton's making his first playoff start. Berrios has been in a playoff appearance before, but overall, I'll lean to the under just because of the wind. I think that this total seems a bit low if you look at both teams and the starting pitchers, and I think that it's relatively low for a reason. Plus, money has already poured in on the under, as it has been bet down to 8.5 for the most part market-wide, but there are still some 9s available. So for that reason, I will lean to the under 9 between the Yankees and the Twins. And other than that, though, looking at some college football in the card today, I'll lean to UCF -3.5 against Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati is going to be at home, and they have a very solid defense and everything like that. UCF did lose to Pittsburgh, but they took all their anger out on Connecticut last week. Connecticut stinks, but as a whole, UCF has dominated this conference for the last couple of years, and until somebody knocks them off, I'll keep betting on them in conference games. Lean to UCF there. I think their speed will be too much for Cincinnati to handle, so I'll lean to UCF -3.5. And the last game between New Mexico and San Jose State, I actually wrote an article about for winners and whiners. And in terms of this game, I actually like New Mexico plus the 6.5, as I simply think that San Jose State, even though they might be better than New Mexico at this point in time, they're not a good enough team to be laying 6.5 pretty much anywhere. This team has been one of the worst teams in the Mountain West for the last couple of years. New Mexico was awful last week against Liberty. I think Liberty's actually not that bad of a team. And New Mexico's offense before that was putting up a decent amount of points per game. San Jose State, their offense is okay. They have a little bit of a quarterback controversy, as their starter, Love, ended up getting benched last week, and Nash in relief ended up playing well. But overall, I think this number's too high. I think New Mexico has a chance to win outright, as I just don't like San Jose State at all as a team. This is a game between two terrible teams, and I think that based on this number, I wouldn't want to lay it with San Jose State. I think if San Jose State wins this game, it should be somewhere in the realm of 4 points. So I'll lean to New Mexico plus the points in that one. Other than that, though, looking at some of the other matchups here with regard to hockey, looking through, I'll lean to the over 6.5 between Toronto and Columbus. Toronto's offense showed in the first game of the season with Austin Matthews having 2 goals that this team is going to put up goals in bunches and probably also give up goals in bunches. As Frederik Andersen, he's a pretty solid goalie, but as a whole, the defensive core for the for the Maple Leafs, sorry about that, is not really much to write home about. Meanwhile, the Blue Jackets will be playing their first game of the regular season. They did lose a lot of talent during the offseason, including their starting goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, who ended up leaving for the Panthers. And I question how well this team will play defensively in his absence. They still have a good defensive core with Seth Jones. But overall, I definitely think that this game should have at least 7 goals in it. I think you could see 3-3 headed into overtime, and I think that this total is a bit too low. So I will lean to the Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets over 6.5. Other than that, though, looking at the rest of the betting card, I'm going to lean to Vegas again. I know that I gave out a lean on them in the regular season opener of -1.5 against San Jose. They're playing in the second end of a back-to-back. This game will be in San Jose, and I'm still taking Vegas at -113 here, as I simply just think that they're just a better team than San Jose. San Jose has a lot of depth in terms of defensemen and just various lines. I still think Evander Kane being out again will be huge, as he has been pretty much the enforcer as well as a skilled winger who has helped on the power play in years past. And I think that this line is a little bit too generous. And if Vegas is minus 118, I think they have a better goalie, regardless of whether or not Jones is in net or not. And I think that San Jose should be somewhere in the realm of plus 115, give or take, because I just think Vegas is a better team. I don't believe in the revenge angle there for San Jose for losing the first game of the regular season and now trying to get revenge, as Vegas ended up getting eliminated by them in the playoffs last year. I think Vegas will come out. I think they'll win. I think this game will be closer than it was in the opener, but overall, give me the Vegas Golden Knights at minus 113. And other than that, though, so the play of the day, as I said before, will be on the over 7.5 between the Washington Nationals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Other than that, though, quick reminder of our sponsor, PointsBet, all in sports in New Jersey. A couple of great deals for you. Up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. If you end up in any sports and end up losing, you simply get your money back, which is a great promotion that I wish more sportsbooks would use. Quick comment from Jamal here. The San Jose first period over. I agree with you there. When these teams get together, you see a lot of goals typically. I know in the opener, you ended up having at least, I believe it was 3 or 4 goals in the first period. In terms of the goalie matchup, Fleury's already been confirmed to start for Vegas. Martin Jones is listed as a likely, but he has not. They haven't officially announced it, but according to the San Jose Sharks Twitter, Martin Jones is expected to get the start once again, and he's been terrible against Vegas, so I think that you should see a decent amount of goals again. I agree with you, Jamal, assuming that the minus isn't too high. I think that game should be pretty high scoring, but I would lean to Vegas due to the goalie advantage and the fact that they're a better overall team. Other than that, though, that's going to do this installment of Scott's Selections here for Friday, October 4th. And good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.